Good afternoon. We're going to call our special meeting public hearing to order at this time. We're going to ask our clerk to read the roll.
Bolden.
Aye.
Boyes.
Aye.
Connor. Davis.
Aye.
DeShazier.
Aye.
Fusco. Garrett. Hannah.
Aye.
Kamer. Lombardo.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Amobian.
Aye.
And Somerville.
Aye.
We have all members present except for Garrett and Kamer.
Okay. Thank you. We do have 7 items up for public hearing. We will have our clerk read in item number 1.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 21st, 2024, during a special meeting to be held at 5 o'clock. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a second driveway at 1395 Superior Avenue. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on October 5th and on the Akron City Council website beginning October 2nd.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Ben Works is requesting permission to add a curb cut and construct a second driveway approach in the front yard of the property at 1395 Superior Avenue. The property contains a single-family dwelling with a front-facing one-car garage. The proposed driveway would maintain a 10-foot width and extend from the right side of the existing driveway in a semicircular fashion for 50 feet to a new curb cut on Superior Avenue, approximately 45 feet south of the existing one. The new curb cut and driveway apron would be less than 40 feet from the West Thornton Street right-of-way. The petitioner has indicated the second driveway would allow him to stack vehicles in the driveway while allowing a secondary means to access the busy Superior Avenue without having to back out into the street. The petitioner was presented with options by the Traffic Engineering Division to bring his proposed driveway into compliance. Options included widening the driveway, extending a concrete T from the driveway, or a combination of both, so his vehicles could be stored and turned around within the driveway to have direct and safer access onto Superior Avenue. The zoning code allows a second curb cut on properties that are 100 feet wide only, and with the approval of the traffic engineer. This property is 95 feet wide. It is the opinion of the traffic engineer to disallow the petitioner's request for a second curb cut, but to allow for him to widen the existing driveway or create a T to turn around. Because the location of the dwelling allows for additional legal parking, no hardship is present to justify a second curb cut without the approval of the traffic engineer, and other viable alternatives are available. As such, both the planning staff and planning commission recommend disapproval. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against item number 1? I'm just going to ask that you please stand at this time so that you may be sworn in by our clerk.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that...
Go ahead and stand up. Yes. Perfect. Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to begin with those who wish to speak in favor. Just going to ask that you provide us with your name and your address for the record.
My name is Ben Works. I live at 1395 Superior. I want to put a second driveway in at my house for safety purposes. I have an 80-year-old mother, and backing out there is a concern. I have a 3-year-old grandson. And if you live on Superior, it's a very busy street. It's been like 113 accidents in the last 5 years, and that's a big concern. I had a problem. I found a solution to it, and by putting a circular driveway on there, that solves the problem. It's effective. You can see from right to the left. I think that really would work. The T that they're recommending, you would have to back up or even widen it. You would still... it will have to be a big, like a basketball court in front of your house, and I don't think anybody on this committee want a big basketball court in front of their house. And like I said, it's just more efficient. And when the guys from engineering or traffic engineering, they should be concerned about the 113 accidents. And it's a house up the street from me that has 77 feet. They're 23 feet short. Every recommendation they want me to meet, I meet. They don't want me to cover my curb pit. It's in the rear of my building, the rear of my house. The storm lateral, I can go out Thornton. So there's nothing other than me being 5 feet short to stop this project going forward. You know, plus it'd make it look nice. I mean, I don't want to have a big square in front of my house. And, you know, a T, you know, maybe they want a T in front of their house. I don't think none of y'all would want a big square in front of your house. And it's just for safety purposes. There's been too many accidents. All my neighbors on that block almost had everyone other than I think one house, and had their house hit by a car, ran into. Mr. Manson had his fence ran into. Car's been flipped over, fence been hit. And so it's a solution. You know, maybe if a traffic engineer come and talk to me and look at it and see the problem, that's a solution. It's my solution at least. So I hope y'all think about it and vote accordingly, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Y'all got some questions?
No, thank you.
okay, just-
Not at this time, Ms. Works, but thank you so much. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor?
Good evening. I'm definitely in favor of this and anything that's going to help someone be organized. And is this the person who's proposing?
Yes.
Okay. I would like for you to also be concerned and make sure that the city works with you to make sure that you have what you need to avoid varmint and squatters, to maintain your property, and that they give you everything, make sure that they have everything they need to preserve and maintain this. And I'm definitely in support of it.
Okay, thank you so much. Is there anyone wishing to speak against? Seeing and hearing none, we will close our public hearing. Yes, please. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's
I would
pleasure?
like
I'm
to pull
so
the
sorry,
committee.
Mr. Works is saying something, Councilman. Hold on one second. Oh, if they are, they need
Oh,
to
okay.
stand. I'm sorry. So when we asked for those who want to speak, you'll need to stand at this time so that you can be sworn in by our clerk, okay?
Could you please raise your right hand?
Mr. Manson. Raise your right hand for us. There we go.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do. Okay,
Thank
thank you. Now, these are neighbors who are speaking in favor, I'm assuming, right? Okay, so Mr. Manson, you could approach the podium there, okay? Just give us your name and your address.
My name is Nathan J. Manson, 1383 Superior Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44307. I'm here to speak on his behalf. I stay about 2 houses down below him, and we had quite a few accidents right in that area. And normally, when you come off the expressway coming that way, it looked like you got a straight shot. But when Superior runs into the next street, you got a strong dog leg there to your left, and you don't know it until you get right up there, and it throws you, whoever driving will throw you off. And if you're not careful, you're going to hit some. And so we talked about this several times. He have no advantage of backing out unless he uses other driveway. And we were discussing this over a couple of years ago. I asked him, I said, once you go to the city and ask for a U, in other words, you got a driveway, you're just going to put a U to it so you can go all the way around and come out so you can get a better appearance to see what's coming, especially coming down Superior Avenue, coming across. And that's what we're here for. And to myself, you really don't know it if you've never been down that street. And the average guy come down there, don't drive up and down that street and realize, you know, once you get down right up on the top of the hill there, you got a quick dog leg to your left shift, and you cannot see it from coming up the expressway. It just runs into it like accidentally, it appears. And so by putting that there, it gives him a vision if he's coming out his driveway, then instead of backing out. You back out, you're in danger because you can't see, and the car coming can't see until you get in the curve. But if you can drive out, it gives you a clearance on both south and north that you can see what's coming. And to myself, a U is just hooking onto your driveway to make it short. And then he also told me that they wanted to put a T in his yard for putting up down there and turning around. A T in that yard, smaller that yard is, it takes up the upper part of that yard. It gives you about a good 12 feet from the sidewalk. And that, you have no sitting room. With that you put in there, that'll leave you a nice yard that you have, most of the old people sit out in the shade in the summertime. So it gives you some time to sit out there outside your house because you got trees down the side. They give you shade there, you can sit there. But for tea, you don't have nothing. It takes up your yard. And if you got that U in there, it'll be convenient for the people's coming, and it'll be more safely for you that you won't pull out there and get hit. That's all I got to say.
Thank you so much, Mr. Manson. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor?
My name is Gerald Brandt. I live at 869 Thornton Street off of Superior, and there's not much more I can add to that, other than I am fortunate enough to be able to pull out onto Superior because I live on Thornton Street. I'm able to turn my truck around. If I had to back out onto Thornton Street, that'd be awful touchy. Speed limit 30 miles an hour posted. Very, very few people obey that sign. It's always a little faster than 30 miles an hour. And I've been almost nicked a couple of times pulling in. So I think what Mr. Works wants to do is a very, very good idea. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Greetings, Council. My name is Stephen Favor. I live at 1389 Superior Avenue. I agree with pretty much everything that was said so far. Just to add, safety is a big factor. As a contingency, we've all kind of started using one another's driveways to assist one another with this issue, with this speeding. I don't know what to say about that speeding thing, but to save our lives, this is the contingency plan we came up with. So that's all I have to add to it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor or against? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to refer this item. Kamer, Connor, Boys,
Aye.
Hannah. Aye. Yes, thank you. We'd like to take time on this. We had some of us may be interested in going out and checking out the location there, checking out the site. We have the phone number. I'll send it out to folks. Or if you just want to maybe go there en masse, and we can maybe schedule a time where many of us could go at one time to be efficient. So if somebody's interested, let me know.
Thank you so much. This item will be referred.
Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 21st, 2024, during a special meeting to be held at 5 o'clock. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a commercial garage at 629 Flora Avenue, parcel number 6830969. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on October 5th and on Akron City Council website beginning October 2nd.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Robert Kaufman is requesting conditional use approval to construct a commercial garage on this lot. The structure would be located 20 feet from both the north and south property line, 12 feet from the residential property to the east, and 5 feet from the railroad property to the west. Would feature one 12 by 12 garage door and one man door along the north elevation, and another man door on the south elevation. Construction materials would consist of split-face block for the walls, metal siding on the gables, and asphalt shingles for the roof. Gutters and downspouts would be tied into existing storm drains. Petitioner owns the property to the north along West Wilbeth Road, which is zoned commercial. He currently uses the property for the storage of dump containers for construction and demolition waste, which he delivers off-site to consumers and returns them back to the site when empty. The proposed garage would provide him with an office and workshop to maintain the containers and a place for storage of items pertaining to the business. He intends to have employees working on site only during daytime hours. Due to the proximity of neighboring residences to the south and the east, the petitioner intends to have fencing and landscaping to reduce the visual impact. He also intends to place a hard surface driveway from West Wilbeth Road to the garage and upgrade the fence and screening along West Wilbeth Road. The petitioner would maintain vehicular access to the garage only from the north along West Wilbeth Road so as not to conflict with residential traffic and uses along Flora Avenue. Planning staff is of the opinion that this lot, which abuts the railroad tracks, is unlikely to be developed for residential purposes. This investment will afford the petitioner a means to increase viability for his business, and both the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval, subject to conditions.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here that wishes to speak in favor or against item number 2? Okay.
I didn't get my name before, so forgive my manners. I'm Reverend Pamela Pinckney Apostolate. I'm the pastor of No Fear But God Fellowship Assembly Church Ministries, and I'm new to Akron, so I'm learning you all's rules. I am in support of this. I see no reason why it should not pass and go to the next level. And as I say on everything that I say to you all, make sure they have what they need to preserve the garage so they don't end up with fines and casualties. I am very much supportive of this, and I want to make sure this is done in other communities as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report. Connor? Aye. Boys?
Aye.
I'm sorry, silly me. Hannah?
Aye.
Report of the committee is favorable. We're asking for passage.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. The report of the Planning Commission as well as the Planning Department and the Ward Council person is in favor of this proposal, so we're recommending approval this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Boyce, do you have any comments?
I do. I'm grateful that Mr. Kaufman has been very receptive to neighboring residents, and we have landscaping and fencing in the conditions, and I'm grateful that he plans to use Wilbeth versus the dead-end residential street of Flora for truck traffic. So with all of those things, I am in support of that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 11-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 21st, 2024, during a special meeting to be held at 5 o'clock. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a dual-use cannabis cultivation and processing facility at 1055 Home Avenue. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on October 5th and on the Akron City Council website beginning October 2nd.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. ATCPC of Ohio, LLC, doing business as Clutch Cannabis, was asking permission to include dual-use cannabis cultivation and processing to their existing medical marijuana cultivation and processing facility. The petitioner currently operates a medical marijuana cultivation and processing facility in the 82,000 square foot single-story structure, this location. Currently, the location has 173 employees. The petitioner states there will be no changes to their current facility or operations necessary to cultivate or process dual-use marijuana. Their dual-use license issued by the state means that the medical marijuana products they are already licensed to produce are now available for purchase at duly licensed dispensaries by both medical marijuana and adult-use consumers. The distinction whether a product is medical or adult use is only made at points of sale. The current medical marijuana cultivation and processing facility has successfully been in operation since the fall of 2018, and the zoning office has not received any complaints regarding this use. Both the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval, subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against? Would you please stand at this time so you may be sworn in by our clerk?
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so we'll begin with those who wish to speak in favor.
Sure. Jason Butterworth, Brennan, Mann & Diamond, legal counsel to ATCPC of Ohio, 75 East Market Street, Akron. Mr. Antonucci did a great job describing the business. It is, the operations today versus tomorrow will be no different than they are. Heavily reviewed and scrutinized by the state of Ohio. We'd anticipate that all those things will continue to be true in the dual-use program. Appreciate council considering these things tonight. I see you've got several more on the agenda this evening, but I think you'll find that each of these operators will be operating the same way today as tomorrow. We appreciate consideration having this approved. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor?
I'm an interested party. You don't have that option. I don't know your names. I was talking to them before the meeting. I gave them my concerns. I won't go ultra-religious about marijuana, but I have a concern about cannabis being distributed in any community because we're looking for ways to heal people. Now I can go along with that, but the cannabis that they're speaking of is ingested. It's not cannabis that's supposed to be medical marijuana where people smoke. So I would like for them to make it clear to us how this is going to not be infringing on we who have lung issues. And I know that when I'm traveling, I smell marijuana coming off of people's clothes. I smell marijuana coming out of people's cars. So I would like the attorney or however I would like for you all to make it clear in this legislation how it is to be used. And I had told the people I was speaking to before the meeting, I'm Pamela, by the way, I need some clarity on that because as a preacher, I approach it one way, and as another person, I approach it another way. And I'm working on trying to get a smoking ban, but if cannabis is allowed to be smoked, then it's infringement upon me. So, and I don't go against anybody trying to be healed. We have alcohol to heal people, we have medicine to heal people, and cannabis is medicine. But I would like some more clarity on how this cannabis, these items 3 through 7 are going to be effective and not offensive to those of us who it is offensive to in some other ways, health-wise. Thank you. Otherwise than that, I have no problem with it.
Thank
Any
you.
3 through 7. I'm not coming back for 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm saying the same thing for all of them, 3 through 7. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Apostolate, so much. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak against?
Hey everybody, I am Chief Dominique Mingo, Chief of the Mingo Indians throughout Ohio. I am against these following, how long is it? 3 through 7 with Ms. Apostolate here. I am proud that we have made the recreational use of cannabis. I hope that goes along with decriminalizing cannabis, but I'm not for the big business, and unfortunately, let's be honest, the only reason that the big businesses are getting into the marijuana game is to corner the less fortunate, and I know you guys don't want to admit that on public record, but that's the truth. And if it's recreational, just stop cornering the markets. Let the people who are already providing it, give them some education to make sure that it is safe for them to provide, and those are the ones who will be providing for us. But we don't need big businesses, and y'all put them in our spaces, and it's you there. It's not us making any money. You guys don't live there. You live far out in your fancy houses, and you take your monies back to your community. That's why Akron is so poor. So if we are going to make sure that only Akron residents can have these buildings and produce business sales in that sector, I'm for that. But as for now, I'm against it because you didn't plan anything for Akron residents.
Chief Mingo, thank you so much. If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report. Connor? Boyes?
Aye.
Hannah? Yes, thank you. Report of the committee is favorable. We're asking for passage.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. The voters in the state of Ohio approved not only the medicinal but the recreational as well. What's before us, the next few, and I believe there may be more coming in, This aligns us with the state law, and we have to look at it in that lens. And so with that, that's why it's before us. We had already addressed many of the issues that the state had required. This piece here gives us a neighborhood an opportunity, if they have objections, to be heard, and then adjustments could be made. And so that's the reason and the logic behind what we're doing here today. So recommending approval based on that. I know the ward councilperson is in favor as well. Thanks.
Councilman Lombardo, do you have any comments?
No, I know that they've been a good neighbor all along, so there hasn't been any problems, and I'm in favor. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 10-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 21st, 2024, during a special meeting to be held at 5 o'clock. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a dual-use cannabis dispensary at 10 South Canton Road. This notice was posted in the Akron Beacon Journal on October 5th and on Akron City Council's website beginning October 2nd.
Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. Parma Wellness LLC is seeking permission to establish a dual-use marijuana dispensary at this location. The petitioner intends to remodel the former Cashland retail store to be used as a cannabis dispensary. The building exterior would receive fresh paint on the brick walls and metal fascia, and the asphalt parking lot would be resurfaced and striped to provide 39 parking stalls. This repair, due to an extended period of vacancy, requires the replacement of some windows and attention to landscaping. The existing drive-up window would remain, although it is not part of the petitioner's business plan at this time. Hours of operation would be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday and 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sunday. Deliveries would occur during off-peak hours to the secure vestibule at the south side of the building. All products would be stored in an approved secure vault. Petitioner states that low-intensity downcast lighting will be installed to reduce glare to surrounding properties. Security cameras meeting the requirements of the State of Ohio Division of Cannabis Control will be installed within the dispensary and around the property. Additionally, on-site security personnel will monitor the video feeds and perform security sweeps to ensure that clients return to their vehicles and leave the premises after a transaction. All products are delivered in sealed, tamper-proof packaging and will be dispensed and packaged in child-proof containers. Clients are not permitted to consume cannabis inside the dispensary or anywhere on the property. The petitioner anticipates 14 employees to staff the facility at any time, leaving 25 parking spaces available for customers, which is well over the zoning requirements. The proposed use is in a retail district with proximate highway access, is more than a mile away from another cannabis facility. The proposed dual-use dispensary would reactivate a vacant retail structure and is immediately surrounded on 3 sides by retail uses. And both planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against? I do believe we have someone also online with us who wishes to speak. So at this time, we're just going to ask that you be sworn in by our clerk.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, I do. I do. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to begin with those who wish to speak in favor.
Hi, my name is Greg Gorospe. I'm with Ice Miller, legal counsel to the applicant. My address is 667 Park Edge Drive, Gahanna, Ohio.
My name is Abby Langevin. I am the compliance manager for Air Wellness and Air Dispensaries. My address is 4594 Franklin Street in Manaway.
We should mention that Air is the owner of the license holding company, which is Parma Wellness.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to share?
Sure. I agree with the statement of the law that was laid out by Mr. Antonucci and by legal counsel during the last presentation. We also agree with the statement of facts that Mr. Antonucci laid out. This is a currently unused building. It's rather dilapidated at this point. Parking lot is a shambles. That's all going to get cleaned up by the applicant. They're going to make it a nice-looking place. The security, actually, Abby will tell you a little bit more about AIR itself and then some of the security and product measures that are taking place.
Sure, yes. So we do have 5 existing licenses that are operational here in Ohio right now, and all of those licenses are in very good standing with the Division of Cannabis Control. Many of them are often used to train the new DCC inspectors that are coming online as well. And AIR as a whole does take security and also community service very seriously. So we will absolutely be hiring locally. And then the employees of each site are also able to identify community service projects that they're interested in too. And the company actually pays us a full 8-hour day to participate in those community service hours. So I did just want to add those 2 tidbits about the fact that we do really care about the communities that we're in, and we care about staffing our facilities with people from the community, and we do really want to give back to the community as well. We don't just want to be one of those big companies that comes in and tries to bulldoze anybody. So in terms of, I know one of the other concerns that was expressed is with respect to odor, and I did just want to reiterate that we do not condone any consumption either within the facility or anywhere on the facility premises. And according to DCC rule currently, there should be no consumption outside in public. It should only ever be in a private residence. And in addition to that, I just thank you for your time here this evening.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else here, either online or in the audience, who wishes to speak in favor? We'll now open up with those who wish to speak against. Sure, you can just come to the podium.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Cool. My question is, why is the cannabis dispensary?
And just for the record, can you give us your name and your address?
Oh, my name is Johnny Osby. My address is 1296 Hardesty Boulevard. And I was asking, why is the cannabis dispensary declaring an emergency, and what exactly does that mean?
Okay. So after this public hearing, I'm going to ask that you get with the chair of planning, Jeff Fusco, and he can answer your question for you, okay?
Okay, cool.
Anyone else wishing to speak against?
It's me again. I didn't say my address, but I do live in Akron, so I'll say that. Again, thank you for, signing your papers so you can do business in Ohio, but they are not from here. I get that y'all want to be drug dealers now, which was once frowned upon when my people were making tons of money, not hurting anybody. They could have used a little regulation. The state could have got their taxes by making them get licensed to sell that cannabis or marijuana. But now you guys want to come in, place your businesses on our land, and that is going to cause a struggle to my people. Make a solution for my people. You guys weren't dealing it then. Don't come here dealing it now. Akron, my council, our council needs to do better with, unfortunately, foreign businesses coming in using their tax-exempt businesses, claiming to be for medical purposes while they're cleaning us out. That's why Akron is so poor. And I know y'all declaring all these emergency for your big friends and your big businesses so you can have somebody big at your back, but start backing your people so we can back you, so we can pay you. Y'all not drug dealers. Y'all ain't never been out here doing anything. Don't come here now. When you made it recreational, you should have made that for your people, not to fill and line your pockets in cities that you don't be in.
Thank you. Is there?
I want to come back behind this young lady.
Hold on one second, Apostle. You weren't even sworn in on this, but you spoken a few times.
Okay, I declare, I don't swear.
You
okay.
do. Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I want to tailgate off of that. And I agree with what this young lady is saying, full-fledgedly. During the administration of Dwight D. Eisenhower, one of our presidents, J. Edgar Hoover came along and poured drugs and guns into the black community. That wave has never stopped. Now, when I spoke earlier, I was stating that if it's not offensive, then I would support it. And I agree with what this young lady's saying also, because I stated to you on several times, it's time out for people who don't live in Akron and in these communities to stop setting up camp and not being held accountable for the community. If you can justify how that's going to benefit the areas 3 through 7, those communities, how they will profit financially, not just benefit, but how it will be a team effort to heal the people in that community, then I can support that. And I like the fact that the young lady had enough fire and enough tenacity to come up here and challenge that, because it's time out for us to accepting it the norm as usual. I stated during the waste meeting that if it's not so bad, do it in your own community. If it's not so bad, why is it being forced to be placed in black communities, poor communities, middle working class communities, if it's not so bad? It's time out for marketing people. I just spoke in county council. See, we got to build homes and not halfway houses. And anytime that, and I like what the young lady said also about having these businesses. You can't make businesses off of profit, off of the suffering of the people. So if this legislation were to pass, I want some accountability, because these businesses come in and there's trash all over the lots and garbage all over the neighborhood. The police don't respond to emergencies. And I thank you, young lady. I don't know your name, but I want some answers. And attorneys being here doesn't mean anything to me, because they just do what they want to do. I'm talking about, I want some accountability from these business owners on what they're going to do. They can't hide behind attorneys. They need to come to this council and speak to you all. It's time out for blackballing black people, poor people, middle working class people.
Thank you, young lady. Thank you so much. Sean, I think you're online with us. Do you wish to speak?
He's logged off the meeting, Madam President.
All right, so if there's no one else wishing to speak, we're going to close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report. Suspension of the rules. Connor? Aye. Boyes?
Aye.
Hannah? For the committee is favorable, we're asking for suspension of the rules. Thank you.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. This is another situation here, whereas we have 14 conditions that are outlined that the petitioner must comply with. Number 7 is that the area be kept free of litter, etc. And annually, the planning department, they're to go out and inspect these properties. Now, if there's a violation, what happens is that the planning department will then notify the owner, the petitioner, the occupant, and they'll be told you have so many days to fix the problem, whatever that may be, out of these 14 various conditions. And if they don't comply within that certain time frame, what then happens is a fine can be levied against them, and then I believe it increases over time, and then eventually it could result into a court action if it escalates that far. So there is situations whereas we as a city have resolutions whenever there's a problem. So with that, we're recommending approval this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended and the committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
And 1 nay.
This ordinance passes 9-1. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 21st, 2024, during a special meeting to be held at 5 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a dual-use cannabis cultivation facility at 1956 South Main Street. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on October 5th and on the Akron City Council website beginning October 2nd.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Galenas LLC is asking permission to include dual-use cannabis cultivation to their existing medical marijuana cultivation facility. The petitioner currently operates a medical marijuana cultivation facility in the roughly 10,000 square foot, two-story structure. The hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday with 20 employees. They have stated that there will be no changes to their current facility or operations necessary to cultivate dual-use marijuana. The distinction whether a product is medical or adult use is only made at points of sale. The current medical marijuana cultivation facility has successfully been in operation since 2019, and the one complaint received by the zoning office was handled. The current use of this property has not had a negative impact on the surrounding community, and both the planning staff and planning commission recommend approval, subject to the conditions.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone wishing to speak in favor or against? If you'll please stand at this time so that you may be sworn in.
Could you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth? If so, please say, "I do." Thank you.
Thank you. So if we can begin with our
No, I'm
petitioner.
going to yield
Thank
to him
you.
because I'd like to hear what he has to say.
Members of council, thank you for hearing us tonight. My name is Jeff Korf. I'm the founder and CEO of Galenas LLC. We operate at 1956 South Main Street in Akron. We've been there for about 5 years. We commenced operations in April of 2019. The facility that we have there was all new construction, from the ground up. As was said, we currently have north of 20 full-time equivalent employees at the facility, so we're one of the smaller operators in the state of Ohio. However, we have been largely successful in Ohio's medical program, and we're very excited about the opportunity to expand into an adult use program. We are here obviously seeking permission to operate within adult use. As was somewhat explained, the state has created rules that are not yet out yet to regulate the adult use industry in Ohio. And so right now we're kind of in between the old medical program and the new adult use program, despite the fact that the Ohio Department of Commerce in the Division of Cannabis Control is allowing for adult use sales to already commence. So we've gone through a process with the Ohio Department of Commerce to allow us to start to sell into the adult use industry. And so what we're here is to kind of follow along with the regulatory structure that Akron has put in place in order to mirror that process locally. I'm happy to answer any additional questions, but as was said, nothing about this request is going to change the day-to-day of how we operate. We're still going to grow in the same way. We're still going to follow the same requirements. We've got cameras all around our facility. We essentially operate like a bank in terms of the security that we have at our operation. Going forward, we certainly look forward to being able to expand our business here in the city of Akron and grow at this specific facility. But for now, all we're seeking is permission to sell into the adult use market.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak against?
I'm just going to express my concerns. I'm Pamela Pinckney, apostolate. I got every title you can probably name in the church. I don't think you ought to hear Dominique Mingo, what she's saying. And I'm just standing here. I don't think you're hearing her because it's just passing like it's either being ignored or not being heard. She's saying to you, she does not want big businesses in her community marketing off the suffering of her people, of our people, people of color. Okay, you got these different rules, these different regulations. I'm a plaintiff in the United States courts and Cuyahoga County courts, and I'm a presidential candidate in this election. And we're doing business as usual. You're not hearing this young lady. What she's saying to you is, no, don't put that in my community. It's not only damaging to the people in my community, but it's time out for racist white America to stop making money off of poor and black and multiracial and middle-class communities, and there's no accountability. It's time out. See, I can go preacher mode, or I can just go political mode, or I can just go people mode. And this young lady, I don't know if she's a mother or not. See, people in black communities, poor communities, multiracial communities don't get the police response the way racist white America does. For you to allow businesses to come in, and this young lady's crying out to you saying, no, 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 please don't do that to us, and you're still just passing it. Okay, we'll change the law. Do something with the law. But she doesn't have anybody, if something happens to one of her children because of this cannabis. Who does she have? Who do these people have? Who do mothers have, families have to, because you can't find these corporations after 6 o'clock in the evening, and you're not going to get anybody in the daytime. Let's not just do business as usual in this room. These people come down here every day for a meeting to have a conversation with you, and if it's just going to be yes on everything, and you're not going to question and challenge people, and they can turn up their noses and don't even want to have a conversation with us, then there's something wrong. I want you to hear what this young lady's saying. And I want somebody to have a conversation with her after this so you can hear her concerns for her community, because she didn't have to come down here.
Thank you, Apostolate. Anyone else wishing to speak against?
It's not so much of against, it's just I have a question of how would, from a mental, emotional wellness standpoint, would anything be in place for the chemical dependency and the substance abuse that's going to come from this marijuana? Because, I mean, I didn't know it was that many that's coming into the neighborhood, and as a mental health worker, that's going to be a lot of addiction, chemical dependency, and substance abuse. I'm not sure if they have any thing in place that's going to help combat that or not. So that's just my question.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if we've got an answer to that. It's up to you. I don't know.
I can actually answer the gentleman's question.
Okay, thank you.
So not specific to my company, because we're only on the wholesale side. We're not doing any retail business or proposing to do any retail business in Akron. But for those retailers that do end up operating in the Ohio adult use market, there's a 10% excise tax that's placed at the point of sale, and that's in addition to any sales tax. And so that 10% excise tax is going into a fund at the state level that's divided up in a couple of different ways. And one of those ways is directly into a separate fund that is going to be created to support mental health and addiction services. So it's already built into the language of issue 2 to deal with some of the issues or concerns that the gentleman raised.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. If there is no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we're going to close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Thank you. I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report. Connor? Aye. Boyes?
Aye.
Hannah? Hannah?
Hannah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right, any further comments?
Just to understand the concerns that's been brought forward. Many of these we have voted on as conditional use. We always listen to the ward council person to a very large extent on these type of issues. The thing of it is that this is, they've been vetted before in terms of that conditional use type of in this particular one here, what we're doing is we're complying because we approved it for the medicinal piece and now for the recreational piece. So that's really the only major change. Is that correct? Yes. Yes. So, and so that's what we're asked to do. In terms of judging other items, it's not our charge at this time. So in terms of this and these ordinances, thank you.
Thank you. If there are no objections, the rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 10-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 21st, 2024, during a special meeting to be held at 5 o'clock. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a dual-use cannabis processing facility at 844 East Talmadge Avenue. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on October 5th and on the Akron City Council website beginning October 2nd.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. CSAC Ohio LLC, doing business as Air Wellness, Inc., is asking permission to include dual-use cannabis processing to their existing medical marijuana processing facility. The petitioner currently processes medical marijuana in the 11,293 square foot, one-story brick masonry block building, while the petitioner state that there will be no changes to their current facility or operations necessary to process dual-use marijuana. There is enough space to add another 15 employees. The current medical marijuana processing facility has successfully been in operation since 2019, and the zoning office has not received any complaints regarding the use. The current and future use of the property has not had or should not have a negative impact on the surrounding community, and both the planning staff and the planning commission recommend approval, subject to conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to open up our public hearing. Do we have anyone here in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against? Thank you. You may approach the podium.
You understand that you are still under oath?
We do.
Thank you.
So again, Greg Gorospe, 667 Park Edge Drive, Gahanna, Ohio.
Abby Langevin, 4594 Franklin Street, Manaway.
We agree with everything that Mr. Antonucci said in his introduction. You know, this is a site that has been in business for some time. As with the previous presentation, given this is a processing site, there's literally no change from one day to the next. All of the products will be exactly the same. All of the labeling will be exactly the same. Everything they're doing at the facility will be exactly the same, from going from medical marijuana to adult use. That may change down the road when the Ohio Division of Cannabis Control brings out their new rules, but those rules are currently being worked on by the state.
Yes. I just wanted to add that all of the products that we produce at this facility are all fully tested according to DCC guidelines. And all of the packaging is also child resistant, so there is nothing coming or going from our facility that is not adherent to DCC regulations.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak against?
I have a couple questions. I'm Pamela Payton, the apostolate. And the apostle who's sitting back here, when we were talking about the waste thing, he said something stinks around here. Something stinks around here still. I had to borrow that from you, Apostle. How many of these cannabis facilities do you all have in your neighborhood, in your community? I would like for them to tell you the answer to that. How much money will be made off of these cannabis facilities in Akron? Who will get the money? Who will maintain the money? What happens if there's an overdose or some type of substance issue? What addiction will this lead to? These are some questions. I'd like to know, if it's so urgent, why aren't there cannabis facilities in their neighborhood? Why is garbage and waste, and why are things that are detrimental put in the city of Akron by these bureaucratic bullies? You know, I noticed even when I was having a conversation that I couldn't even have a conversation with the people because they feel as they conducted themselves as if they're superior to me because I'm not white and I'm not on council. But it's time out, Council President, for bureaucracies and corporations not being accountable and not having a conversation with they don't know me. My mother's an attorney. They don't know me from a can of paint, but I'm not white and I'm not on council, so they didn't feel like they were comfortable having a conversation with me, and they're not better than me, and I'm not better than anybody in this room. But I want to know, why are they putting this stuff in Akron? Why do they want to put waste facilities in Akron and drug facilities in Akron? What, we don't have enough crime here already? We don't have enough health issues here already? And something needs to be a change, and because it's being done this way doesn't mean it needs to keep being done this way. We have almost a whole new council. It's time to do some things new around here. I know you ought to be tired of tragedy and catastrophe. Because it's been done that way doesn't make it right. The KKK's been hanging black people for centuries. Slaves been sold in this country for centuries. So does that make it okay? No. I want an answer. How many of these facilities are in their community?
Thank you, Apostolette. If there's no one else wishing to speak in favor or against, we're going to close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Will the committee for a favorable report? Suspension of the rules. Connor? Aye. Boys?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Report of the committee is favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules.
Thank you. Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. Same explanation as the previous.
Perfect, thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 10-0. Notice is hereby given that the following open comment public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, October 21st, 2024, during a special meeting to be held at 5 o'clock. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to establish a dual-use cannabis dispensary at 1568 East Archwood Avenue. This notice was advertised in the Akron Beacon Journal on October 5th and on the Akron City Council website beginning October 2nd.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Cultural Retail Partners of Ohio is asking permission to include dual-use marijuana sales to their existing medical marijuana dispensary. The petitioner currently operates a medical marijuana dispensary in this 1,200 square foot single-story structure. The site is open daily from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., except on Sundays when operations cease at 6 p.m. The petitioner states that they employ 15 full-time staff along with a part-time third-party security team. An additional 4 to 5 employees will be hired to support their transition to a dual-use dispensary. Petitioner states that there will be no changes to their current facility or operations necessary to dispense dual-use marijuana. The current medical marijuana dispensary has successfully been in operation since 2023, and the zoning office has not received any complaints regarding the use. The current use of the property has not had a negative impact on the surrounding community, and both planning staff and planning commission recommend approval subject to conditions.
Thank you. Do we have anyone here in the audience who wishes to speak in favor or against item number 7? Do we have anyone online with us?
Yes, Madam President, Devin Julian has signed up, and he is on the Zoom meeting. Devin, can you hear us? Would you like to go forward with the other speakers, and I can try to see if we can get it?
So we're going to open up our public hearing. We'll begin with those who wish to speak in favor. If there's no one, we're going to begin with those who wish to speak against.
We're voting right now. We have an election taking place. I'm Reverend Pamela Pinckney, and I'm a candidate in this election. And I heard the council members say that this was already in place because a meeting took place, Council President. It's time out for having secret meetings against the communities. The community should have been made aware of something like this being even considered to come into their community. It's time out for having hidden agendas and just letting business people come. What productive communities are adequately funded in black communities, poor communities, multiracial communities, the communities for the disabled? What businesses are functional? Do they have grocery stores? Do they have things that they need? We don't need to cover up injury with drugs and alcohol. Because then once people are addicted, then you want to put them in a program to get them unaddicted. You're voting yes. You keep voting yes. You keep voting yes as if you're not hearing. But I know I don't talk to deaf ears. If this were you, Would you want this to be you? If this were someone impacted by these businesses, would you allow it? My dad is a former council president and paved the way for Marcia Fudge to become the mayor of Warrensville Heights, Ohio. And I'm very displeased right now from what I'm hearing and seeing this evening. This young lady didn't have to come down here. And it's like you're ignoring her. Because you had a meeting, when you have these meetings to put businesses in these communities, especially the communities like Ward 3, 4, and 5, you should have the citizens at those meetings, the preachers at those meetings, parents at those meetings. You don't just let somebody come in because they offer you money, come in to do what they want to do in these communities. You won't do it in Green and you won't do it in West Park. You won't do it, just like shifting that garbage container from the white section of Ward 5 to the black section of Ward 5 when you say you want to take it out of Akron. Stop dumping garbage in Akron. And stop allowing people, because they have an attorney, to come down here and justify it.
I'm going to speak for this last one. I wish you could have had a camera on this guy's face. The greatest smile, thanks to Big Bucks Fusco that y'all seem so scared of to go against. But anyways, keep that smile, because that money will be coming to Akron. It won't be going overseas. Just wait on it. But my thing is, Akron, Dominique Mingo, Akron could have opened up a facility for processing. We could have used that to stimulate our economy here with our high amount of people on welfare and food stamps. So when they're going to out workforce, we could have taught them how to grow. We could have taught them how to process. We could have opened those buildings ourselves. But still, you let Big Bucks Fusco fill the pockets of everyone but your people. And all of you are to blame. Every last one of you, because you don't speak up. That could have been our money. That's what I'm saying. It could have been ours. That's why we're poor. And we can't pay you no more. One thing came on to say the lives of the people of Akron. One thing on this list of 7 things. And that's the thing you put on hold. But when it came to this money, y'all ain't do nothing. Y'all sat there and y'all said, I. But when it came to saving the lives of your people, you said, let me put that on hold. Let me go look at that. How about we get together and go look at a place that you know that has constant accidents, but you pass all this money for other people? I really don't think y'all for us. And I really think we need to be doing some recalls. Fusco, you first.
Thank you. Is our petitioner, Devin, can you hear us? Devin, are you online with us? If not, we are going to go ahead and we're going to close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco, what is the committee's pleasure?
Sure. I'm going to recommend approval. I would like to pull the committee. Connor? Aye. Boyes?
Aye.
Hannah? Recommendation of the committee is favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules.
Are there any objections to suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Same.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
This ordinance passes 10-0.
Thank you so much. There's nothing else coming before this committee. Meeting adjourned.
Council will meet in regular session at 6:30. Thank you.